Well, thank you for watching another video here. This is not something I want to do is overwhelm you with videos every week, but there are some things that are just easier to represent in this standalone graphical way, and survey data is obviously one of those. So I want to show you some comparisons. I just have 4 graphs that I want to show you here, and we're lumping our school survey data into basically the lower school and the upper school, because that's how we've done it the last 2 years, and I want to show you some data, how we progress from year to year. But this is not all the data. I'm not going to show you every result here, and a lot of the information was verbatim feedback. We had a fill-in-the-blank thing for you, and we're reading, I assure you, we are reading every single response. We've already read every single response, and then we're discussing it in our A-team with the principals. Okay, what can we do and get better? We debrief on every event that we do, and we come back, and so your feedback is important. It helps give us a perspective of how it hit you as a parent, and so keep it coming, and when we have surveys, I encourage you to fill them out. So let me show you a couple things here. So the first graph I want to show you is the overall school communication for the lower school. K3 to 5th grade is what the survey data asked about, and so you see down here that it's the fall of 2022 is when this data is from last year. And so this year's data, though, when we go to the fall of 2023, it looks almost identical, ironically. Different numbers, but almost exact same percentages. So that's good in the fact that most of you felt confident you had the information, but we still want to grow and shrink those other slices of our clientele that were unsure and they didn't think they had the right information, or they felt unprepared. So that's good data for us, but it's interesting that they look almost identical. These other graphs will not look exactly the same. The next one that I want to talk to you about is the back to school nights, and so you have different categories that you could select that where you felt you were. And so the blue bar here is, I love the format and the connections and those kind of things. That's the bar we want to grow. So this was last year's. The orange says overall it was positive, but it could use some adjustments. And then you can see the pink bar here also represents my students enjoyed back to school, and the brown was we had some positives but with some negatives, and then the pink one down here was my student did not enjoy back to school night. So there's always going to be some like that. We want to minimize those, but you can kind of see this was the graph from last year, and then this is the graph for this year, which is good because we saw the blue bar last year, this year. The blue is growing, the pink is growing, and the blue is growing, the pink is growing, and some of the negative ones are shrinking. So that's good for us, and it means we're going in the right direction. That means we're growing, and we're trying to do some things a little better. So doesn't mean we did it perfectly this year, and a lot of you gave us feedback about the ice trucks and those kind of things. So we want to make sure it's a fun time. It is a challenge. It's our first time back on campus with lots of people, and so it's not an easy thing to do, but we love hearing your feedback to see how we can do it better. So that was the 2 graphs for the lower school, and I want to show you the same graphs for 6th through 12th grade. So this was fall of 2022 again here, as far as how many of you felt sure you had the information. So about half of you felt like you had it, and half were unprepared, and so that was something we really wanted to improve from last year. And I'm very happy to say that this is the graph for this year, that blue slice really grew, and we're thankful for that. That most people felt like they had good information and they are confident they had the information. We still had a good slice that was unsure that they had all the information, so we are trying to work hard on that. It's 6th through 12th grade is very complicated with a lot of different classes and teachers, and so we're trying to get better at giving you the right kind of information and in a format that you can do, especially when you have children in elementary, middle school, high school, and we recognize it's very, very challenging when you have multiple children to get to the teachers, meet all of them, talk to them, and so there is no perfect format. So we're trying to give you good information and grow, keep the best stuff, and work on the rest. So thanks for doing that, but it's nice to see that the graph went from last year like this to mostly blue, that you were confident you had the information. So that's a win in our minds. We're going to keep working at making it even better. And then the last graph I wanted to show you is the same one as the lower school, but the upper school here again. It says, I love the format. The blue bar here, you can see that there were most people said the format could use some adjustment. It was overall positive, and green was format could use some adjustment, overall not positive. So we had some work to do from last year, and so we worked on it and talked about it. How can we make it better for 6th through 12th grade? And then this is the graph for this year. And so we're glad that the blue bar is growing. As you can see, the blue bar went from smaller than orange to now greater than orange. And that's what we want to see. And we still have work to do. There's still people that didn't enjoy it or didn't have a good time. And we're sorry about that if that's you. But thanks for letting us know so we can keep working on that as a school. So I just wanted to see some of that feedback and let you know we do read every survey that you take. We read it, we talk about it, and see how we can continue to grow. And so speaking of growing, I want to just remind you, this is our guiding principle for this year. And you can see it's a mindset of continuous self-reflection, Bible saturation, learning, and personal change. That's why we ask surveys. We want to reflect on what did we just do? How did that work? Is there a better way to do it? What are some biblical principles that we should learn from? Obviously, humility, growing, transparency, all of those things are a part of our guiding principles, but they're biblical principles. We didn't come up with these. And then learning, how do we get better? And then we change. Let's try something different and make it better based on that. So hopefully that's an attitude that is infused into our culture here at Bob Jones Academy. And we want to be growing just as much as our students are and setting the example for that. So thank you for filling out the surveys. Thank you for being a part of Bob Jones Academy. And we're so thankful for each one of you. And thank you for your patience with us as we grow, as we try to learn. And speaking of learning, one of my school parents taught me how to say, Dios les bendiga. God bless you all. And so in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, I want to say Dios les bendiga to each one of you. God bless you. And thanks for being a part of the Bob Jones family.